So Thomas speeded up. Just a little more. Thomas chuffed faster still. The bulb started to rattle and shake on his flatbed. Every time Thomas met another engine, he became more and more excited. Henry huffed along with swings and a seesaw. "It's going to be a wonderful party," puffed Henry. Thomas went a little faster. Then he met Toby with the clown costumes. "See you at the firework party, Thomas," he rang. Thomas went a little faster. He saw Percy with cars of children in fancy dress. The children were very excited. "See you, Thomas!" cried the children. Now Thomas wanted to be back for the fireworks party more than ever. Before Thomas knew it, he was puffing very fast. Then there was trouble. Harvey was replacing some tracks. Workmen had put a barrier across the track to warn the engines, but Thomas was now going too fast to stop safely. He bashed into the barrier, and the light bulb broke. "Cinders and ashes," cried Thomas. "The lighthouse will not have its light, and the ships won't be safe at sea." Thomas puffed quickly back to the warehouse to collect a new light bulb. He knew now he would be too late to see the fireworks. Thomas had to stop at a signal. Edward was waiting. He was excited. "I'm off to collect the Chinese dragon," he tooted. But all Thomas could think about was getting the new light bulb. With the new light bulb safely on board, Thomas set off slowly and carefully. He knew he must deliver this bulb safely to the lighthouse. So when Toby passed with the choir practicing their songs, and when Edward passed with the Chinese dragon, Thomas didn't think about the fireworks party at all. Not once. Thomas arrived at the lighthouse just in time. The bulb was quickly unloaded. "Thank you, Thomas," said the lighthouse keeper. And Thomas puffed back to Tidmouth Sheds. He knew he had missed the fireworks party completely. Then Thomas came to the top of a hill, and he saw a wonderful sight. The lighthouse beamed brightly. The ship's lights twinkled in the harbor, and the sea reflected the stars. And even though there were no rockets or Catherine wheels, Thomas thought it looked as wonderful as the fireworks. Every engine on the island of Sodor looks different. Can you tell who this is? This engine is dark green. It's only got a small roof on the cab. But it's got a very tall funnel. Do you know who it is yet? Here's another clue. This engine's got very big wheels. There's only one engine on Sodor who has wheels like that. Do you know who it is? Yes, it's Emily. Hello, Emily.
All
The island of Sodor is a wonderful place. There are lots and lots of engines. Who's that puffing along the track? It's Percy. Percy is a tank engine. He is green with 4 wheels. He has the number 6 painted on his bunker. Percy is the smallest of all the engines at Tidmouth, but he works just as hard as the big engines. His special job is pulling the mail cars. This job makes him very proud. Percy is also very proud of the island of Sodor. One day, he was asked by Sir Topham Hatt to take a famous artist round the island. The artist wanted to paint a picture of the spirit of Sodor. Percy took the famous artist to Norramby Beach, to Shen Valley, and at last to Knapford Station. But the famous artist didn't want to paint any of them. That made Percy very cross. He wished his theme so hard that the famous artist's hat flew into the air. Suddenly, the famous artist knew exactly what he wanted to paint. He wanted to paint Percy. Percy was surprised. Because Percy is the smallest engine, the big engines sometimes tell him what to do. So it was a very special day for Percy when he could tell them what to do. One day, Lady Hatt told Percy to be in charge. Sir Topham Hatt was sick. Percy had to tell James and Gordon and Toby what to do. Sometimes Percy gets things muddled up, so Percy listened very hard to Lady Hatt. Percy felt very proud to be controller for the day. He couldn't wait to tell the engines what to do. Grandly, Percy told James to be a busy bee, Gordon to pull very slow coaches, and Toby to pull the express. Later, Percy puffed off to check on his engines. Gordon was puffing very slowly. James was painted yellow and black. The children thought he looked like a giant stripy bee. And Toby was using all his steam to pull the express. Gordon, James, and Toby saw that all the children were laughing at them. That made them very unhappy. Percy felt terrible. He had muddled everything up. He didn't know how to unmuddle it. Luckily, Thomas came to help Percy. Together, they put everything right. When Sir Topham Hatt arrived, he was very pleased. Whenever Percy is in trouble, he knows his friend Thomas will help him. That makes Percy very happy. And Percy, more than anything else, is a very happy little engine. All the engines on Sodor look different. But this engine has been working in the coaling plant today and is covered in coal dust. How can we tell who it is? This engine has a round face and boiler. Do all the engines have round faces? No. Mavis and Toby have square faces. So it can't be either of them. What else can we see? This engine has a separate coal tender at the back. Do all the other engines have separate coal tenders? No. Thomas and Percy don't. So it can't be either of them. This engine has a very tall funnel. Do all the other engines have tall funnels? No. Henry and Gordon don't. so it can't be either of them. Who's left? James and Emily. James and Emily look very similar. They've got round faces, tall funnels, and separate coal tenders. This engine must have a washdown. What about that big drive wheel? There's only one engine with a drive wheel like that. And the engine is green. So it can't be James. It's Emily. Hello, Emily. Thomas and the Big Bang. Thomas is a cheeky little engine. He likes to have fun with his friends. He likes playing hide and peep with Percy. And he enjoys joking with James. One day, Thomas was fitted with a brand new whistle. The whistle gleamed, and Thomas beamed. And he blew it all day long. He blew it softly, and he blew it loudly. He blew it in stations. And he blew it in Misty Valley. Thomas thought it was the most wonderful whistle he had ever had. Thomas puffed into the wharf with a train of freight cars. Mr. Percival was there. "Thomas," he said, "the narrow gauge engines are bringing bricks, flour, and lumber. They must be loaded into your freight cars by supper time." Mr. Percival left. Thomas felt very happy. So he blew his new whistle loudly. Rheneas was surprised. He jumped and biffed into his flatbeds. Skarloey and Sir Handel laughed. Even Rheneas thought it was funny. "That was fun," tooted Thomas. Now he wanted to play more jokes and have more fun. So Thomas chuffed off to look for another engine to peep. Later, Rusty puffed into the wharf. He was shunting cars full of bright red bricks. They were to be unloaded into Thomas's empty freight cars. But Thomas wanted to have more fun. He rolled up behind Rusty. Rheneas and Skarloey held their puff. Thomas blew his new whistle. Beep! Rusty jumped and he biffed his freight cars. Rusty was covered in red brick dust. Skarloey and Rheneas both laughed. Thomas thought it was great fun. Rusty thought it was fun too. Now he wanted to join in. "Can't catch me," hooted Rusty. And he steamed around the wharf. Thomas puffed after him. Everyone was laughing and having fun. But no one collected the bricks. Then Thomas had another idea.